If you're ready, Tom, I am ready to get into this top 25 recruiting classes.
Let's get into the top 25. We start with number 25, the Louisville Cardinals. 23 players have committed. 4 of them are 4-star recruits. 3 of them are all in the top 300 as well. Emmanuel Allen, Robert Hicks, and Trinell Troutman. A solid class for Louisville. We'll see what happens as we get some of the bigger name commits that haven't decided yet to commit. Louisville, a potential team with 23 guys and not elite quality, could kind of slide out of the top 25 once we get to the final signing day period in February. To number 24 we go with Michigan State. Sparty has 20 players committed, 4 4-star recruits, 2 top 300 guys. The Nova 4-stars, Kalen Gervin, the cornerback, tight end Trent Gillison, and then an athlete in Xavier Henderson. Michigan State hanging around that top 25 mark. NC State checks in at number 23 with 4 4-star recruits. A promising year this year for the Wolfpack. I think they've done a very impressive job overall with what they have done. The one big recruit, the top 100 recruit, is outside linebacker Peyton Wilson. NC State coming off a promising year. Dave Doreen, at least in the early signing period, has capitalized on that, has the Wolfpack at number 23 in the recruiting classes right now. We'll get down to number 22, and frankly, one of the bigger surprises today. The Baylor Bears are 22nd in the nation despite having to really almost blow up the entire program. A terrible year this year for Baylor, and yet Matt Rule has found a way to get Baylor in the top 25. 4 4-star recruits led by 4-star dual quarterback Jerry Bohannon. He could be the quarterback of the future for Baylor. An impressive job by Matt Rule to get the Bears in the top 22. Matt Rule deserves a clap, a round of applause there for a Baylor program that hasn't done a good job. Baylor now at number 22. Number 21, Mississippi State. Remember, Dan Mullen is out. Joe Moorhead is in. The Bulldogs still recruiting very well. A common theme among their earlier recruiting targets, Mississippi State has added 3 different 4-star wide receivers. Malik Heath, Stephen Goodry, and Devontae Jason. 3 guys who could be part of a big dynamic offense under Joe Moorhead for Mississippi State. Into the top 20 at number 20 is TCU. 19 commits thus far, 5 of them 4 stars, led by dual threat quarterback Justin Rogers. Kenny Hill Trill ain't going to be there forever. Rogers could be the replacement down the road for the Horned Frogs at quarterback. Into Maryland now, and the Terrapins. A pleasant surprise overall at number 19. 24 commits, a couple 4-star guys on the offensive and defensive line, Austin Fontaine, and 4-star OT Jalen Duncan. So Maryland sitting there at number 19. A big class for DJ Durkin. We'll see if they stand pat as other teams throughout the process here rise up with bigger recruits such as a USC. Maybe they can jump the Terrapins before it's all said and done later this signing period in February. Texas A&M checks in at number 18. Just 15 commits, but 8 of them are 4 stars. So not a deep volume class for the Aggies this year, but a pretty good quality class led by 4-star wide receiver Jalen Preston, 4-star DT Bobby Brown. A quality class for the Aggies under Jimbo Fisher. We'll see what happens if Fisher can close strong in that second and the original signing day period here later next month. Virginia Tech checks in at number 17. And again, this is the volume class that we talk about. 25 commits, 5 of them are 4-star recruits led by 4-star wide receiver Trey Turner. The Hokies under the new head coach have done a fantastic job this year. They've got a bunch of their guys already in. The Hokies can kind of sit back and for the rest of the recruiting period have a little bit of a breather and also focus on next year's class. Remember, folks, signing and recruiting period never really stop. We'll go down to number 16, SEC school, South Carolina. 22 players committed. 5 of them are 4-star recruits here. Among the more notable ones here, 4-star cornerback J.C. Horn. You'll recognize Horn as the last name there. That is the son of 4-star wide receiver Joe Horn. So he has now flipped to South Carolina here. A very impressive job by the Gamecocks to get Horn. He could be a very good corner for them going forward. LSU at number 15. Players committed have 20 already. And LSU, by the way, folks, still in the mix for several of the top-tier guys that we mentioned just a little bit ago in our top 25 recruiting ranks here. LSU is far from done. They will make a late push into the top 20, or top 10, excuse me. But during the normal signing day period in February, they're going to make a late push there. They're led by defensive end Jarrell Cherry. To number 14, a team that was in a rough spot entering today, but they have done a fantastic job of late. Florida has risen from outside the top 25 when we started today. They are now number 14 with 14 players committed, led by 4-star recruit Emory Jones. The Gators flipped him from Ohio State, and the Gators now have, in theory, their quarterback of the future under Dan Mullen. Remember, folks, they had Matt Carroll. He flipped to Ole Miss. Jones now goes to Florida, a better fit for the Dan Mullen offense. So the Gators, a big, big riser today and a big winner. They go from out to the top 25 to 14. To number 13 we go, Oregon. The reason they hired Mario Cristobal, he wanted to keep their dynamite recruiting class in shape, and they've done that. Oregon at number 13, 19 commits, led by 4-star quarterback Tyler Show. He could be the replacement for Justin Herbert once he heads to the NFL. Some good players as well. Steve Stevens, the 4-star safety. Javon Holland as well. A very talented class for Oregon and a promising one as well. To number 12 we go, the Michigan Wolverines. 19 players committed. We have to watch, though, 4-star linebacker Otis Reese. He did not sign today. While he remains committed, it's a tenuous commitment at best. Georgia could make a late push for him. So monitor Otis Reese. He's not going to make his decision quite yet. We'll see what happens there in the end with Reese if he goes to Michigan. As things stand right now for the Wolverines, 19 players committed, 8 of them 4-stars, of course. That doesn't really factor in talented transfer Shea Patterson. Doesn't count in the recruiting class, but that's a big boost for the Wolverines. To number 11 we go, the Washington Huskies right now. They sit as the top class in the Pac-12. 18 players committed, 4-star wide receiver Marquis Spiker among them. 2 talented cornerbacks here, Colson Yankoff and 4-star quarterback Jacob Sermon. Yankoff, a 5-star name right there in the end for Washington. We'll see if Yankoff or Sermon, or maybe even somebody else, can eventually replace Jake Browning. Clemson, by the way, has made a fantastic late surge. They are in the top 10 now after being out to the top 10, out to the top 15 when the day started. Trevor Lawrence is the big name there, the 5-star quarterback. Could enroll, going to be a very talented player. 2 dynamite defensive ends, Xavier Thomas and KJ Henry. You see the volume there for Clemson, not great. Players committed only 14, but 9 of them in the top 300, 6 in the top 100, 4 5-stars. A fantastic class here for Clemson and what they've done. Quality over quantity there. To number 9 we go, Auburn. 20 players committed, none of them 5-stars. The guy to watch is athlete Joey Gatewood. He's going to play quarterback for Auburn, and Gus Malzahn put the hype train in motion when he said Joey Gatewood is the closest thing he's seen to Cam Newton. So we'll see if Gatewood ends up remaining in that level there, if he can become anywhere near the volume of Cam Newton there, but Auburn checks in at number 9. To number 8 we go, the Oklahoma Sooners. A quality class here. TJ Pledger, friend of the show, came on earlier today to interview with Cam Rogers. 9 4-star recruits for the Sooners. They've kind of fluctuated a little bit. Teams like Georgia and others have risen above them. They've been as high as 6 as of late, but as of right now, they sit at number 8. A very good class, the number 2 class in the Big 12. Notre Dame then checks in at number 7. Very similar class in terms of the volume and the quality as Oklahoma. 10 4-star recruits for Notre Dame, led by 4-star cornerback Houston Griffith, who also came on today's show, interview with Cam Rogers. If you missed that interview, don't worry, folks. We'll play it over after the show ends. You can catch it live here, on demand here on Chat Sports College Football. Notre Dame there checks in at number 7. At number 6, as we approach the top 5, how about the U, the Miami Hurricanes? 20 players committed, 1 5-star recruit. That is halfback Lorenzo Lingard. Also cornerback Al Blades Jr. 14 recruits here in the top 300 for the Hurricanes. They have done a fantastic job. Unfortunately, a little bit outshadowed by some other programs, including number 5, Alabama. It's funny, folks, we talk about Alabama. The assumption is they're always going to be number 1. Not the case this year. In fact, Alabama probably not going to get into the number 1 spot a change of pace for the Crimson Tide. They've been number 1 for years. They've risen to number 5 thanks to some additions like the 5-star defensive end Anoma you see on there. 12 4-star recruits, though not going to be quite the deep class in terms of volume, the number of guys they commit to Alabama has seen in the past, but it's going to remain a very quality class. Welcome to Alabama football, folks, where a down year in recruiting is number 5 in the nation. To number 4 now, the Penn State Nittany Lions. What a job that James Franklin has done. 22 players committed, 9 4-star recruits, chief among them among the 5-star guys. Defensive end Michael Parsons committed today. Was previously committed to Penn State, decommitted, and then recommitted here. A fantastic job by James Franklin to get him Penn State. Overshadowed by OSU, who we'll get to in just a second, but this is a loaded Penn State class. Going to keep them at the top of the Big Ten East going forward. To Texas now at number 3, 20 players committed. A 5-star recruit in safety, B.J. Foster. Caden Stearns is committed. 4-star quarterback Anthony Cook committed earlier today. We showed you that on today's program. This is what Texas expects. Being one of the top recruiting teams in the nation, they're not done yet, by the way, still in the mix for a few notable guys. 16 top 300, 15 4-star recruits. This is what Texas wants. A fantastic class from top to bottom. Emphasis on the defensive side of the ball. Texas is not back yet, but if they recruit like this, they might finally get there. To number 2 now, and what a job Kirby Smart has done, especially getting the top tier guys. 6 5-star recruits for Georgia. Justin Fields, Zamar White, multiple offensive linemen led by Cade Mays, the former Tennessee Volunteers recruit. What Georgia has done this year is nothing short of spectacular. Why are they only number 2 though? Perhaps you're wondering that. The difference is Ohio State has the 4-star in the top 300 plus the extra recruit. It's a very close race right now between OSU and Georgia. Georgia has a few more 3-stars. Those 3 stars Georgia has end up being the very talented 4-star recruits that Ohio State has. 16 4-star recruits, 17 in the top 300. Ohio State remains the number 1 class in the nation.